Thank you very much for joining us and a warm welcome. Burkina Faso's government says it plans to put into full force a new national security plan to fight against armed groups and terrorists staging attacks in the country. On Wednesday, the National Assembly adopted a bill submitted by the General Secretariat of the National Defense. The bill entails a new national security plan that will recruit voluntary civilians into the country's armed forces. According to the government, they will undergo 2 weeks of military training and will be deployed in regions across the country to help the country's armed forces. In the latest violence to rock the country, at least 36 civilians were killed in an attack on Monday, and the attack took place in 2 villages.
That's right, Jerry Bambi. Beyond the efforts undertaken by the 5G5 Sahelian countries, Burkina Faso, Chad, Mali, Niger, and Mauritania, supported by foreign forces, terrorist attacks are on the rise. Burkina Faso, on its part, has chosen to recruit volunteer soldiers to go into combat. And Colonel Major Theodore Nambapele, Secretary General of National Defense in Ouagadougou, joins us this morning to tell us more about the situation in the country.
Monsieur.
We are happy to have you on the program this morning. Right, so we want you to enlighten us on the difference between the national security policy and the bill on the recruitment of voluntary civilians, which has been adopted.
Well,
what I have given to the government is the national security policy. It has nothing to do with the law, which has been passed on the training of volunteers for the defense of the country. It is a Ministry of Defense file, and I'm from the General Secretariat for National Defense, which is in the Prime Ministry, which has a role of coordinating all defense policies, including the national security policies. That is why the document we submitted to the government on Monday as the national security policy. The 2 documents were in fact taken at the same time. But the second is a law on the establishment of volunteers for the defense of the country.
Colonel, so for many, this may appear to be several plans for the same cause. Don't you think so?
No, that has nothing to do with it. The First Ministry has a coordinating role. So while we are working on the coordination, the other ministries will continue to do their work. So the document we put forward stands as a global reference framework for conducting security operations in the country. So from now on with this document, we can move on to the implementation stage. So that does not prevent all the ministries that have actions to take in the security and defense framework from continuing their work. The new actions that will come from coordination will bring coherence, and that is something we strongly believe in. Well, let me come in here. How does your national security policy work in relation to the regional security plan adopted at the G5 Sahel level? That's a policy, and it's a policy which goes beyond the plan, and it's a very long-term policy, which is not circumstantial. It is not linked to circumstances. And so it should not be reduced to the circumstances of the moment. It is not because there is insecurity everywhere. A country needs a national security policy, and that's it. Burkina Faso had a national defense policy that was adopted in 2004, but is now outdated. The configuration on the ground has proven that a paradigm shift is needed. It is necessary to add human security elements. And so we made that paradigm shift and therefore proposed a new national security policy, which we believe is good for the country.
Colonel Pale, so while these initiatives have been implemented, a new attack left 36 people on Monday dead. How fast can the new initiative go in addressing this enormous challenge?
Bien sûr, vous savez que même si c'est une personne qui meurt...
Of course, you know that even if one person dies, it is not insignificant. The duty of the state is to protect all citizens, and today we can't deny that jihadis, terrorists, and even sometimes armed bandits are present in certain parts of the country. It is a fact. But we need to organize ourselves and the national security policy to that effect, so as to put the country in order and to organize coherence and coordination so that we can face, or let's say match up to these threats. We have terrorism, yes, but there is also cross-border crime, which is the breeding ground for terrorism itself. All these threats must therefore be curbed in order to be able to deal effectively with the terrorism issues that exist. Because the terrorism we have has ideological perspectives, but there are many aspects as well that needs to be attended to. Well, thank you very much for your time this morning and the insight you have given us on the situation in your country.